And hey, welcome to another edition of Let's Get Hoarse. I'm Billy Koch, founder and managing partner of Little Red Feather Racing Club. Two pros with me today on this show, where pretty much anything goes. We're looking for opinions. Bram Weinstein, the host of Bram Weinstein Show on ESPN Radio in DC. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on, Bram.
Thanks for having me.
Blackjack Fletcher of Barstool Sports and Barstool Bets. Has to deal with LaDuca on a regular occasion. I'm sorry about that. I really apologize for his behavior most of the time. Blackjack, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Billy. Pleasure's mine.
All right, guys, we're going to get right to it. The show, we have three questions. I love betting on horses. I'm also an owner. I'm involved a lot. I love it because it's a challenge. Every race is its own puzzle. Yep. I like the big bets. I like pick threes, pick fours, pick sixes for the big money. But tell people, why is betting horses better than sports betting? What is it, Bram?
It's the odds. It's the odds. I could bet on the Chiefs. They're only going to pay me double what, whatever I paid. I could bet on the best horse in a race and sometimes get 4-1 on it. It's the odds. I mean, that's the best part of the whole thing. And then I'm with you. When I was a kid, I was like a math geek, and before sabermetrics or analytics mattered, I was reading the daily racing form and trying to figure things out and using the math and the stats to try to come up with an opinion. And there's nothing like being right. I got the Chiefs right against the 49ers in the Super Bowl. So what? If I pick the 5 horses 8-1, that's something to actually crow about.
I love it. I feel the same way. It's about being right. Blackjack, where do you stand on this?
I mean, Bram hit the nail on the head when he said the odds, right? I mean, it's, as someone who's gambled on sports and horses for a long time, even money just doesn't get the blood flowing for me anymore. I mean, when you walk out and you hit a nice pick 5 and you walk out of there on a $72 ticket with, $4,000 in your pocket, even money on the Chiefs, like you said, Bram, just doesn't do it.
I'm going to follow up on this question. We'll start with Blackjack. Just one quick thing, though. Horse racing has been the only game in town. Our pools have been massive lately. How do we get more people to understand what we're saying and what we're preaching?
That's been the tricky part, right? And that's something we've tried to do at Barstool because, we've got a pretty young audience that's very engaged. We've been trying to show them during these few months that, listen, just because there's no sports going on doesn't mean there's nothing to bet on. Horse racing is there. It offers great odds, and it's a ton of fun, right? I mean, you can sit there and occupy yourself for hours on end for, $100 on a ticket, and it can take you 3 hours of entertainment. Well, it's a lot of fun, and it's engaging.
Yeah, and you can do it actually while you're listening to Call Me Daddy. I mean, that's easy. Bram, what do we do? Because there is a barrier of entry. It's not like someone could just pick up the racing form and understand all the information.
Well, that's the problem with it. You're here, read this entire book of statistics, and then you can join the rest of us and have the same conversation. I wish there was a way that we could find. The $1 billion idea in this industry is someone who comes up with a way to dumb this thing down in a way that people feel educated enough to put their money on it and actually have some success to go along with it. And if someone could come along with something that helps people win a little bit better and understand what they're doing at the same time, then they've made all the money in the industry.
I think it's a great point, great idea. Let's the three of us get together after. I think we have a name that we talked about off air that we could use. Let's talk about the Triple Crown 2020 because it's coming up. Naira just announced the Belmont's coming up next month in June. Is upsetting this tradition a possible good thing? Will it create more stars, more rivalries, or is this we're in big trouble now? We'll start with Barstool Blackjack Fletcher. That's what I'm calling it.
I mean, listen, Billy, I don't like it. The Triple Crown has been the way it's been for a long, long time, and I know there's been other instances where things have been upset, but under the circumstances with the world we've been living in for the last 3 months, I'll take what I can get. So I'm glad we're running these races. I'm glad we're getting all 3 of them. I wish the Belmont was 1.5 miles. I wish we were getting them in the normal order, but I'll take what I can get.
Bram, how do you feel?
I'm with Blackjack on. I don't like the order of it. I don't like the Belmont shorter. I like a couple of things about it that I really, really, really don't like. But unintended consequence of this is I love the fact that it's going to get spread out. I don't really. I know for the sake of tradition, everyone does this over a 5-week period. Why? It is the most important thing that happens in this sport. If you were to spread it out over a period of time, you have the possibility of garnering support and interest in the sport that lasts a little bit longer. Now, I would never want it to be 2.5, 3 months in between one of the Triple Crown races and the other, because whoever wins the Belmont is probably going to race in between. And then if they lose and then go to the Kentucky Derby, that kind of messes up the momentum of the whole thing. Like, we could have a Triple Crown winner that loses in the middle of the Triple Crown, like by going.
That's amazing. I hadn't thought of that.
Right.
That's a great point. Let me interject one thing, because I've had an idea for a long time, and I'll start with Bram. Could the Triple Crown go to 4-year-olds? Would that make a difference? You have a whole year leading up of their 3-year-old campaign, and now they're 4. What about that, Bram?
I mean, I don't know if this would have been interesting if they had to punt on this year, if they opened it up to 3 and 4-year-olds next year to have that field look like that. And I don't know. To me, like, I don't mind the age. Like, that's not a problem to me. I like that tradition. I want the Derby back at the first Saturday of May when we can do that again. I like the Preakness being second. I like the Belmont being third. I'd like it spread out more often. I think there's an opportunity there that's lost by not spreading it out more often. They're not able to carry over fans in the same way. So I'm hoping the unintended consequence here is that they see that happening in real time this year.
Blackjack, you agree?
I mean, I think that I get where Bram is coming from, and it makes sense. But there is an old guard in this sport that will never allow that to happen, no matter how good it looks this year. So I think this is a one and done for this. Yeah,
it would be kind of cool if first Saturday in May, Derby, first Saturday in June, Preakness, and then 4th of July, Belmont. I mean, wouldn't that be an amazing – and it gets horse racing in the news for basically 2 straight months rather than 5 weeks.
Yep, agreed.
Agree?
Yes. All right. Run the Belmont Stakes, shoot fireworks over Belmont. Everybody's happy.
That's it.
That's it. Hot dog in America.
Let's the 3 of us just start. We could be the commissioner of horse racing. Let's just start now. All right, last question, guys. We saw hockey today. They announced. Notice I said hockey, like I did like an accent there. That was weird.
A little Canadian.
I really did. They announced they're canceling the rest of the season, but they're going ahead with the playoffs. Bram, what do you hear about some of the other sports? When are we getting football? Are we getting college football? Are we getting baseball, basketball? What are we doing?
I think everything's coming back. I think like all of them are watching this going, great, you're the first to do it. The team sports are going to be a lot harder than NASCAR or golf or horse racing for that matter, for all the logistics and all the safety issues that go with it. The NBA is coming back. It's going to be in a very similar format to the NHL, probably just their playoffs, so they're going to go. Baseball's trickier because it's every day. And football, there is way too much money involved in this for it to not happen. There's already school presidents walking back saying, oh, we don't need the students to be on campus to play football. Yeah, no kidding, you don't. Like, because the bottom line matters too much here for everybody. So it's all coming back, just not in the form we're used to.
The almighty dollar. Is that it, Blackjack?
I mean, it's a big part of it, right? I mean, I think the first sport we're going to see back is basketball. They seem to have this Disney idea floating around. And I think they're the first sport back largely because the players and the owners have a pretty amicable relationship, right? Baseball is the one I worry about because this whole revenue sharing thing in baseball is going to be a real problem for them. There's no salary cap. There's very little incentive for players to take less money. Baseball is the one that I think could have the biggest problem. And honestly, is the one that can least afford to miss a season.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody can afford to miss a season, the information that I'm reading. But, hey, look, we're all thankful that horse racing is back. We all love betting on it. We all enjoy it. One last question. I'm going to get, the Belmont is coming up. It's about, a month away now. Blackjack, right now, preliminarily, give us your pick for the Belmont.
I love Tiz the Law. I've loved Tiz the Law the whole way. I think he's the best horse in this group. I think he gets forgotten a little bit because of the Baffert 2 that have been in. But I think that Tiz the Law, for my money, is the best of the bunch. And he's familiar with that racetrack, too. So I'll go with him.
Makes a lot of sense. Bram?
I love Tiz the Law. I'm going to go Nadal. I think he proved a lot in the second division of the Arkansas Derby. He had the much stronger field that day, and I was extraordinarily impressed by what he did. So unless he gets the 20 posts, give me Nadal.
I like it. Both you guys, this was fantastic. Now, we all figured out before the show that we all have something in common, so we're going to stick to it, right? We got that Shana Tova for all of us. And Blackjack, keep up with those Barstool guys. They're crazy. Bram, excellent podcast. I listened to one this morning. Keep up the good work, and thanks so much for joining us, you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.